An update on the Thousand Oaks shooting. Police have identified the suspected gunman.
Also, citizens of Iowa City gathered on the Pentecost to protest the appointment of Attorney General Matt Whitaker.
Stick around for the DITV pregame show for a special feature on some pretty special players.
We've got that and everything else you need to know for Iowa versus Northwestern coming up.
Did you notice the snow on the ground this morning? Well, I sure did. Stay tuned for weather when I'll tell you all about how the snow impacts the Hawkeyes' big game tomorrow.
All that and more coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in to this Friday, November 9th edition of DITV. I'm Jahisha Thomas.
And I'm John Chenoweth.
The Ventura County Police Department has identified the suspect involved with the mass shooting in California earlier this week. Ian David Long has been confirmed to have been the man behind the deadly attack. Long was a former Marine who had spent the time fighting in Afghanistan. Long had previous run-ins with the VCPD for domestic disturbances. The motivation for the attack is still unknown and is being investigated.
Many Iowa City residents are upset with President Trump after the midterm election. Last night, Trump Isn't Above the Law rally was held on the Pentecost, protesting Trump's recent firing of Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Sessions oversaw the investigation of alleged ties between President Trump and Russia. President Trump's sudden choice to release Sessions has provoked many citizens, leading to protests throughout the country. Last night, protesters believe newly acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker is not fit to lead the investigation against Trump. The goal of the nationwide rallies is to have Whitaker commit to not taking supervision of the investigation. Whitaker is yet to respond to the public backlash.
The Iowa City Board of Regents is working to make future tuition increases more predictable. On November 15th, the board will outline its revised tuition model. Regent spokesman John Lehman announced the new plan will focus on state appropriations, tuition revenue, and internal reallocations. With spikes in enrollment in Iowa universities, the updated plan seeks to prevent students from losing availability to resources as more students arrive each year. The new plan will also lay out predicted tuition changes for the next 5 years. Following state funding cuts, the board hopes the plan will help clarify future tuition changes to the public.
A local retail store is taking part in National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. This is a national event that takes part every November. Reporter Samantha Auswick has the story.
Raygun, located in downtown Iowa City, is a popular clothing retailer founded by a college student back in 2005. They focus on creating ultra-positive slogans according to their website, and this November, 20% of their proceeds from the t-shirt reading, quote, "Housing is a human right," unquote, will go to shelter housing. Sales associate Stella Murphy told me more.
Homeless shelter just reached out to us and asked if we wanted to participate in the Homelessness Awareness Week, which is this week. So we're donating 20% of the proceeds for this t-shirt to the cause.
This isn't the first time Raygun has gotten involved with social issues, as every year, 1 to 3% of their gross sales go to outside organizations. Their website states public education, equality, personal freedom, and a clean environment are the issues they strongly care about. The shirt sold for shelter housing is available all month long at Raygun. From downtown Iowa City, I'm Samantha Ostwick for DITV News.
Wow, that is really wonderful that Raygun is so actively involved in helping the community. And you know what? I want to say that that is a good thing as well. And with the weather, because I know we have to talk about that, but I really wasn't expecting to see the snow. I know it's cold, but I didn't want to brush snow off my car this morning.
No, you're right, Jahisha. Usually like to wait till after Thanksgiving for snow to come. Obviously, again, like you said, it's not the case this year. Let's toss over to the weather studio and see what's going to happen this next week.
Thanks, John and Jahisha. I definitely noticed that snow on the ground this morning walking in. Overnight, there was roughly 1 inch of snowfall here in Iowa City. Now, hopefully this snowfall will take a pause tomorrow for the Hawkeye football game in Kinnick Stadium, and it looks like it does. At the time of the 2:30 kick, the temperature will be 28 degrees with 7-mile-per-hour winds. Now, other than just being cold, the weather shouldn't impact the game at all as the winds aren't that harsh and there's no snow expected in the forecast. Now today locally in Iowa City we have a temperature of 29 degrees and partly cloudy skies, so no snow expected for this morning. Now as we transition into later tonight, we will be really cold with 23 degrees but clear skies. Now as we move into our extended 5-day forecast, as I mentioned, tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high of 31 and a low of 26 degrees. Sunday we get a little bit hotter with our high in the low 40s and a low at 23 degrees with also partly cloudy skies. Now as we start our weeks on Monday, the partly cloudy skies continue, but our high is a little colder in the low 30s and our low is in the high teens. So make sure to watch out for this cold weathers on Monday. Now Tuesday the sun comes out. However, there will be 15-mile-per-hour winds with our high in the upper 20s and our low in the upper teens at around 18 degrees. Wednesday the high winds continue with a little bit of a hotter high in the upper 30s and a low in the upper 20s with 13-mile-per-hour winds and sunny skies. Well, we all got a little taste of the snow last night, and it looks like it will take a pause for the week and even into next week as well. John and Jahisha, back to you guys at the desk.
The University of Iowa has appointed a new Chief Innovation Officer for the Office of the Vice President for Research and Economic Development. John Darcy is a university alumni who will lead innovation and economic development at Iowa. The university is looking to emphasize the importance of finding new ways to support innovation in academic and federal areas. After the previous innovation officer left, the UI decided to restructure to give it more of a focus on achievements in research, scholarship, and creative ventures. For more, go to dailyiowan.com. It's the Friday before a Hawkeye football game, and that means it's time for our Kid Captain of the Week.
This week's kid captain is Mason Gonzalez. Mason is 7 years old from Jessup, Iowa. Mason has a rare neurological disorder called Angelman syndrome. This disorder causes him to laugh frequently and have an excitable personality. It also causes him balancing issues and the inability to speak. He can communicate with his parents through speech and generating device.
Mason has weekly visits to the Stead Family Children's Hospital and undergoes therapy regularly. Part of his therapy is horseback riding to strengthen his core and work on his ability to balance. So Jahisha, obviously with Iowa's tough loss to Purdue last weekend, hopefully they can come together and get the win against Northwestern.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do hope for that win. I do hope for Mason's recovery. I do hope he's doing well with that. And I do hope that, I can make some money off my driveway. So all good things, hopefully all this weekend. So toss it over to the sports to see what they have for us.
Hello and welcome back to the DITV pregame show. I'm your host, Beau Bowman, alongside Lucy Rohden.
It's good to be back, Beau. I'd just like to point out that Iowa's losing streak started the week I took a break from pregame,
So it must have been you. Thank God you're back. Thank
That's
God you're
what
back.
the answer is.
Now, before we break down the game, we have a special feature on some pretty special players.
Iowa's special teams have been overall really solid for the team this year, and kicker Miguel Recinos is on a bit of a hot streak, making every single one of his 28 extra point attempts this season.
But it's not just him out there. He has to put a lot of faith in his holder, too.
Laces out, Colton, is something you might hear on the Iowa sideline right before Miguel Recinos attempts a field goal with his holder.
We go out for a kick and we just take everything off, take all the stress off. We talk, we have like a regular conversation before we kick, and then, all right, here we go, let's kick it.
The bond between a kicker and a holder can make or break those 3 points.
It's easy when you're out in the practice field, but when you're out there in Happy Valley and it's pouring rain, that's when you really find out, who has the discipline to kind of, keep that relationship going.
And it's hard to find a better set of friends than these two.
We're really close. We hang out all the time, and I have a lot of faith in him, and he's a great athlete and a great guy. So
we're always around each other no matter what. With that field goal, punt, during games, out of games, we grab dinner every once in a while. We're always hanging out, playing video games together. So we're pretty close.
But here's the kicker: when the pair are preparing for a big kick, there's no funny business.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
Before Colton and I go out there, we'll just kind of talk a little bit, and we'll give each other like a handshake or something like that, and then we'll go out there, and then he'll say something to me, but really it's more just to help me kind of focus in and kind of block out the noise type of thing.
Creating success and memories that will last a lifetime.
We kind of have a brotherhood in a way.
Well, as Lucy, you know I love that Charlie Brown reference.
No, I was just going to say that I'm lucky I don't have quite as bad a Lucy as a holder as Charlie Brown does. I don't know.
Well, you can check out the Daily Iowan pregame section for a feature story on Rastetter.
Now, Iowa's odds at the Big Ten West are slim to none after that loss against Purdue.
And with the bowl game already locked up, it can be hard to stay motivated for these last 3 games of the season.
But the team leaders will assure you that they're more motivated than ever.
Leadership becomes even more important, especially in the darker times, and just showing them that you still got to come to work every day and move forward with your season. That's as important as anything right now.
You got to let them know that this is the end of the season. We have 3 more games left. You can either back down or you can keep pushing forward so we can get these next 3 wins and have a successful season, or you can just back down and just have a bad season and just leave nothing on the table.
Obviously we've had 3 really tough losses this year. Basically 1 possession games, and there's no finger pointing. There's no everyone takes ownership in what happens, good or bad, win or lose. And that type of attitude, makes it fun to be a part of.
It's been a disappointing season so far, to say the least, but hopefully they can make the most of it and get to a good bowl game.
And while the Hawks probably won't be making the trip to Indy this year, Northwestern actually has a really good chance at it to represent the West in the Big Ten championship.
Even if they lose to Iowa this week, all they have to do is beat Minnesota and Illinois, 2 of the bottom feeders of the Big Ten West. So very winnable games.
That's right. And is it just me, or is it weird to think that Northwestern is probably going to be playing in the Big Ten championship?
Oh, it is incredibly weird. I don't know if it's just that I can't take Pat Fitzgerald seriously or the fact that it's just Northwestern, but it's not sinking in with me.
Well, it's not odd to the Hawks, who believe they have always taken the Wildcats very seriously.
We know that they're a good team, that they're coached well, and they play hard. So, and obviously that 13-1 speaks for itself. So, we know that they're a good team and know that we have to prepare well and come out and play well on Saturday.
I don't know why that is. Just maybe some down points in their history. But that's certainly not the case right now. Northwestern's a really good football team. You look at the wins they have this year, look at the wins they've had in the last few years. They're a really good program. So that's something that we don't take lightly around here.
And they have that toughness about them. That they're going to come out there and they're going to play hard and they're going to do the things that they want to do. And so they're a good team, and that it usually comes down to close games because we're some sort of similar outfits, and so we respect them, they respect us, and it's going to be a good game. So
Northwestern is 12-1 in their last 13 games. That's what Stanley was referring to there back at the beginning. But all right, quickly before we go, predictions, Lucy.
I have a hard time believing Iowa's going to lose 3 straight, and I'm back on pregame this week, so I'm actually picking the Hawks.
No, I'm with you. I'm going with the Hawks. Northwestern's new fake ID of college football. But that's it for this edition of the DITV pregame show.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates during the game throughout the weekend.
And come back on Monday for our analysis of the game. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, guys. Let's hope you're right. Always love your rendition of sports. And it is Friday, so it means it's time for that ICAC Animal of the Week. This is reserved for that one special animal at Iowa City Animal Care Adoption Center who's ready to meet their new family.
This week's special animal is Siri. Siri is a 3-year-old little girl. She is litter trained, spayed, and neutered. She's looking for a family that doesn't have a dog. She wants to be a special furry family member in your life. If you have kids, she might take time to get used to them, but she'll warm up really quick. If you have any questions for her, you can ask, but you might not get the answer you're looking for. Siri might not understand you.
For more information about Siri, check out the ICAC website, call the number, or just give her a visit. So thank you for tuning in to this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news every day of the week.
And if that isn't enough for the Daily Iowan, then be sure to check out our print edition of the news on the stands now for DITV. I'm Jahisha Thomas.
And I'm John Chenoweth. Have a great day, Iowa City.